Welcome to Inside the Box, the channel that takes you out of the real world and puts you into the world of imagination. Every week we deep dive into anything ranging from your favorite shows to discussions covering new anime and comic books, whether you love the new season of The Last of Us or you started the anime Lazarus. Cody and I got you covered. This is the place to break free from the outside world and look at the world inside the box. Let's get started. I'm your host, Mac.
And I'm your host, Cody. And today we're starting off with Fire Force episode, what was it? Episode 4? Episode 5?
I believe episode
I think it's episode 4, yeah. So Captain Obi survived.
Flex!
Had the power of muscles.
Did he get lessons from Lopez or something, man?
I don't know. This one, I was like, in which there's, so as we were talking about before the season started, Fire Force is a prequel to Soul Eater. Soul Eater is a very cartoon logic anime, and a lot of people are saying as this season goes, if this is the last season, the logic of it is going to get more cartoony. So some people were like, that doesn't even make sense. His muscles are too strong, and him flexing, the bugs can't bite him. That's mainly because I think as we go, the world is going to progress into more cartoonish logic. So we do see that. We did get a pretty good fight sequence. Arthur finally meets Dragon and gets his buns buttered by this man. I said, damn, Arthur, fight back. Fight back, please.
I was watching this right now. I'm like, yo, people said this is supposed to be like one of the craziest fights. And like the manga, so I'm like, maybe next episode, like it's gonna go off.
It's the rematch.
Like, oh, okay, because I was like, yo, rematch. I was like, yo, he gets his butt beat. I was like, this is supposed to be one of the best. I was like, okay, maybe next episode, because he gets the cape and everything, the plasma cape. So I was like, okay, all right, maybe next episode, Arthur goes off. Like maybe he becomes the Night King. Yeah, I was like. Cook. Oh, I was excited for you to show up, but now I'm kind of like, hey, back up, recuperate, get the rest of your crew up in there.
Wait, hold up. We wasn't ready. I
was like,
damn. Flipping.
But then, like, when homeboy, the lieutenant, he's like, I have been shooting him at like the deadliest possible, and it shows like, oh, your bullets ain't doing shit. Y'all stay back. No. Y'all do nothing. Y'all just don't get it Arthur's way. Like,
y'all gotta back up. But did Arthur cutting basically that building, like just like, and then the building goes and it reveals Obi? I was like, Arthur getting strong. For him to be able to do that, he is getting power ups. He just needs another power up to beat Dragon's ass. Yeah. Bruh.
That's the cape, bro. The cape was flapping that thing. He about to be going crazy. The cape gonna look alive and shit like that. It's gonna be nice.
Yeah. Then Burns is still whooping Asta and Joker's ass. He's like, all right.
I was like, y'all need to get the dude from the 7th. Like, y'all need some help.
Y'all need something, because he's like, all right, show me your resolve. I'm like, I don't think he's got enough resolve in his body to beat this man. So y'all
they say, like, the longer it goes, the stronger he gets.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Like, y'all need some help. Yeah. Y'all need really hope, like, they company 4, 5, and 7 come help y'all or something.
Yeah.
It's like, exactly. Y'all getting nowhere. Y'all not getting closer to y'all captain. That man just gonna be flexing for his life. Like,
I know. Everyone's like cheering him on. They're like, you look great. Your muscles are amazing. Keep flexing. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Grab a bug or something. Squish it. I don't know. Like, flex with one arm.
I'm like, something. I was like, bruh.
Fight back. Everybody just need to fight back.
And then I'm like, I'm real mad at like the rest of his company, because I'm like, okay, Arthur's handling Dragon, Homeboy's handling Birds. Like, can y'all go and help him with the bugs? Like,
everybody just watching something.
We're spectators now. Like, we're just gonna sit. Like, no. And then I guess you can use the excuse like if they try to pass them Dragon. No, Arthur's handling Dragon. Go help out Homeboy. Like, I was like, jeez.
But, honestly, like even like Tamaki could have hit Obi with like a fireball from far away, but like burn all the bugs off of him. He'll survive the hit. Like, he'll be okay. But I'm like, man, y'all gotta do something. So we'll see next
I'm getting
episode.
tired of them being some spectators, bro. Like, God,
Yeah.
dog.
Another show that we were watching. Let's talk about Last of Us because we watched episode 3. Episode 3 is kind of like a recovery episode because rest in peace, Joel. Man, yeah. Episode 2 is crazy. There's a lot of mourning in this episode. I was surprised that Seth, the old guy that was like calling them slurs, is the guy that stepped up to help. But it also makes sense where he's like, I'm helping you not because of our beliefs, but because I think this is right. And then you got Dina and Ellie off to like go find this small group called Wolf. This very small group that is actually the size of a gigantic militia with like a tank. I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're like, yeah, this patrol is going this way. I'm like, that's only a patrol? That's not everybody? Yeah, y'all got some work to do. Y'all gonna need to bring a horde the way they brought one to Jackson to be able to fight these people. So, but overall, it was just like a recovery episode.
It was a good episode. Like, this episode, I'm all for WLW, woman loving woman. But I don't know if it's the way they're writing her love interest. I don't know if it's the actor that's playing the love interest. I'm just like, I don't feel any chemistry between these two. Like, with Joel and like Ellie, like, I felt the chemistry of father daughter. You know what I'm saying? Even with Joel's brother, I feel the chemistry of like uncle niece. But like, I don't feel the chemistry of like lover. It feels more like her love interest loves Ellie because of who Ellie is. And like, what I mean by that is like how, like, when we were talking about the first episode, like, she's like the princess of like Jackson. Like, everybody know who she is, and that's what I'm getting from her. It doesn't feel like she loves Ellie because she loves Ellie. I feel like she loves Ellie because who Ellie is. And that, I don't know if that's the writing, I don't know if that's the actress. It's just like their chemistry does not come off right. I'm just like, to bring back to one of my favorite shows, the originals. Freya loves this girl from a wolf coven. She's like the last of her surviving like wolf clan, and you feel that chemistry, even though the chemistry is very off from the beginning, but you feel the chemistry grow, and they kind of turn into a throuple. That's a whole nother thing. But like with Ellie and Homegirl, it's just like, I don't feel that. I'm not like they would die for each other type love. Like, it doesn't feel like that. Maybe like it'll feel like that at the end of the season because we are only on episode 3. So maybe we'll feel, but it's just like right now, like even in the first season, episode 4, when we had I cannot remember their names, but it was just like the men loving the men. Like, it was like both those dudes that loved each other.
Like
You
Nick
felt that
Offerman's
chemistry.
character.
Yeah, like you felt that chemistry between in that one episode. You felt that chemistry of like, damn. Yeah, they kill for each other.
They had good chemistry. This
but
one
like,
feels almost like high school friends.
Yeah, because like I don't feel it with them. I'm just like, I'm supposed to believe like they gonna go pop pop pop. Everybody with these, nah. I can see her and Joe's brother going plop 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 with each other, like, but like this, I don't see neither one of them just going up in that building holding them straight sideways, going all gangster. No, I don't see that. I see them going into the building and Homegirl running away for her life. Like, that's what I see. Oh, just could be me. I don't know.
We'll see. I think Dina is the more logical thinker, where Ellie's like more irrational, where she's ready to just like walk up in Seattle and be like, I'm gonna start shooting. I'm like, that's how you get killed. That's also very that's not how we do it. But Dina's like, all right, did you pack medical supplies or food maybe?
I would believe that, but then in the first episode they go into that abandoned building without really any logical plan.
Yeah, that's fair. Where they both overestimate their capabilities. Yeah, that's fair. We'll see how this goes. I don't think they can pull off the job of taking out Wolf. I'm hoping they'll be able to at least pull off the job of taking out Abby, but we'll see how that goes. No. And I'm curious if the next episode is going to be from if they're going to keep switching perspectives of Ellie and Abby now that we have both of them in the mix. If they're going to see like, oh, this episode's Abby, this episode's Ellie.
So that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
Yeah. After that, we got Lazarus, episode 4 and 5. Honestly, we've gotten past the point where I'm like, okay, this either going to be good or bad, and it's still keeping up. It reminds me of the Boondocks in a sense of like their animation, where they very much like in the scenes where it's like
story wise, this reminds me nothing.
No, story wise, hell no. But in animation wise, it's like static scenes. Like there's some scenes where it's very much cartoonish, and then there's some scenes where it's like, all right, this is important, and then they animate it, and I think that's perfectly fine to do. I think in episode 4 they have where Axel is on the drone flying, and then they keep animating inside the helicopter or looking at the two guys in the helicopter. And I'm like, those guys, they low animation for that. But the fight scenes and everything that needed to be outside the helicopter was pristine. So I think they choose where to put the budget, which is smart. They should. Both episodes just have fire fight scenes still. They have really good fight scenes, and you can see that the choreographer John Wick is in there, and he does all the fight scenes where like they're in the club. I'm like, this looks like John Wick would walk into this club and start whooping some ass.
And when they walked into the club, I was like, yo, who? I was like, oh, the hacker girl like got dressed up for it. And it was like, and he's like, why am I? I was like, oh nope. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Leland,
I was like, this is some assassination classroom type of stuff right here.
It is. I was like, man. And so now we also, I think this is more so, I think you're right, where the hacker is very much important in this, because now we've met Dr. 909 was the DJ.
Yeah.
And we've also met now in episode 5, what was it, Popcorn Wizard, which is like hardcore. And I'm like, okay, so now we've met both hackers that are as good as Homegirl, but they all different. Like Homegirl got her ass whooped by Popcorn Wizard. I said, dang, fight back to being in Fire Force, fight back. She's like, yeah, I did this just in case. Nope. Did this just in case? Nope. And I was like, dang.
That's if you watch Leverage, that scene reminds me of like Hardison going against like his arch nemesis, and there's like a scene where he's like, I got the lasers. Oh, I got the lasers and the alarm. Oh, I got the lasers, the alarm, and like the air. But I was just like, what the? I was like, bro, what?
Yeah. Not exactly. But story-wise, it's progressing slowly but surely. They keep finding leads, and then those leads don't lead anywhere. But then they find another lead. I don't even. Did they find a? They didn't even have another lead after this one.
I don't think so. I don't.
They made a trap for Skinner to like come, and then they didn't. They got whooped by Popcorn Wizard.
Did not happen. Did not happen at all.
So I'm wondering if Popcorn Wizard is connected to Skinner or not, or if they're going to try and pursue her after, and then that's what's next.
I feel like our theory holds up that it's not a disease, like it's not a mutation. I feel like it's a lie, because when they found was it the government guy, the mayor guy, or whatever, who was they found?
The CEO of the hop.
And then he's like, we have all of our people like on it, and we can't find it. And I'm like, that's because there's nothing to find. I'm like, I feel like he played everybody's ass, and it's like, I just want to see how everybody's gonna react, or like what humanity is gonna really do. Because again, like how we were like, this dude seems so genuine and so good. It doesn't seem like he would do something like this. And so I feel like he did do this just to test humanity, and that's why they can't find anything to like cure, because there's nothing there to cure.
Yeah, it's more likely that he, with the monkey, because they did the test trials on the monkeys beforehand and one died, I feel like almost so that he injected that one monkey with something that would kill it 3 years later, and he's like, all right, this will make them think that this is like to prove his theory, but in reality he injected something separate to that. So I'm looking forward to how it's resolved, but I can't imagine that it's going to be like everyone does have this disease and everybody's going to start dying soon. Unless they come and they're like, yeah, all the monkeys died.
If they do, I would be excited for season 2, because now I'm like, is this going to leading to like an apocalyptic era anime? Is this leading into like factions anime? Did some people survive the mutation? Did other people like evolutionize? Did it not affect other people? Like, if it really is like a mutation, I am like, oh, what is season 2 going to be about? Because I feel like that's such a good segue to just change up your whole anime for like a second season and be like, well, this is what the anime is about now. So I feel like it would be very dope segue if it is a mutation. Like this is the rest. If it's not, okay, this is a cool one-off season 1 anime. But if they do have a mutation, it's like, oh, what's the other animes? And maybe if it's not a mutation, maybe the other seasons are about something else. So like this is a crew they keep together for other stuff. I don't know, but yeah, I am very interested to see where it does end up at.
Yeah. Speaking of interested to see where it ends up, we got episode 4 and 5 of To Be Hero X. Episode 4. You had to talk about these things as two separate things.
Bad.
Episode 4. But like leading up to the very end, and if you guys don't know why we're mad, you guys should be watching this if you're watching this episode. Episode 4, Moon dies at the very end. So sad. But it also shows how important, how important your fan base is and the population is. Of they can stop you from moving. If they tell Nice, they're like, don't go, don't react, don't move, and he's like, I can't leave this building. And it's not until he's like, I'm not Nice, I'm Lin Ling. And I'm like, okay, this is where we're starting. He's no longer Nice. He reveals the truth, and now he's the commoner. And Lin Ling is his own hero. He beats God Eye. And you were right. You said that you don't think it was Moon, and it was actually just like a mannequin. It was just a mannequin. He's like, yeah, I didn't know that she was actually alive. And then we see that like she's actually been trapped because she didn't take her teleportation gun.
Take your gun.
Why did you not?
I would have taken that, bro. Oh man.
No, exactly. And then he's like goes to save her, and then we see, boom, this mother. What was his name? Isol, the speedster electricity guy of this anime. He just marks her right in front of Lin Ling. I was like, why?
Wait. I'm trying to think. Did he have a gun on him? Did we see the gun on him?
He might have. I don't know. Something marked her. But I'm pretty sure it's Isol because he's...
Right, because he's like standing behind her, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what my theory was, because I don't remember seeing a gun on him. But my theory was, it's one of two things. Either one, that just happens to her. Because remember the first episode, he sees her dead. Or two, he already had a power and he can see like into the future or something like that. Because the way she gets shot, where the blood's at, and the way she falls is all the same way I believe she was in episode 1 on the bed. So I'm like, either one, he sees the future, and or two, that just happens to her.
If Moon gets brought back to life again, I'm gonna
be right, because in episode 1, that's what happened. And then with the dude, I was like, I don't remember seeing a gun, so I was like, maybe he was searching for her. Maybe he was.
They never explained it either.
Yeah, maybe he did kill her. I don't know, but yeah, I was like, wait, this looks kind of like how she fell and was the season in the first episode. I'm like, maybe he saw the future, or maybe this just happens to her. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I
could see them killing her off because they're trying to wrap up loose ends after this whole debacle with God Eye. They're like, we can't leave her alive.
But then it's
if she's ever discovered to be,
you don't have to kill her. She just be somebody new, because apparently Moon is just a name. Just how Nice was just a name. He's like, oh, Moon. So now it's like the thing doesn't affect her. If she's like, I don't know a Chinese name, so I'm not gonna try to say one. But she's like, I'm Shang or something like that. If she just changes her name, I'm April, bam. Now she's not Moon anymore. So they don't have to kill her in a sense. But so that's what I feel like. If they did kill her for that, that's a little overkill. It's like, why'd you do that?
Yeah, in which God Eye at the end, he was like, he revealed Blankster, which I was like, the boxer guy. I was like, this guy got his powers because he was putting like metal in his boxing gloves. I was like, man, this guy's a cheater already. And then becomes a hero. I was like, all right.
Do what you got to do to get in.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I guess so. Episode 5, we meet Isol as a hero and also a guy that might become the next Isol. And that was the second thing I was going to bring up. In this episode, Yang Chung is a kid that is saved by Isol, and he grows up and he does reenactments, which I think is cool. Like, they have superhero reenactments, and this is very popular in China and Japan, where they'll have like a stage play of like Power Rangers or something, and they'll go on stage and they'll pretend to be that character, kind of like you see at Disneyland. And so he plays this guy, and then he's hoping to make the cut for this like 25 or 35 year anniversary, and he ends up not making the cut, but he does save this one kid, and we get to see the power of one trust value, and it's like, still able to give him like powers. So I think it's definitely dependent on how much somebody trusts, like the trust energy, like who is trusting, because then you got to think of Firm Man, that one girl trusted him with her life, and he was able to hold up the building, and now this kid calls him Esol, and he gets like some power of Esol. But the biggest thing that people caught was that old Esol, the OG Esol, that was like talking about how he never reveals his mask, and it kind of looks like he's looking for a successor. His lightning is purple, and the new Esol that we've met, his lightning is blue, and Yang Chung's lightning is also blue. So they're thinking that's why he's going to become the successor. And the person that maybe killed Moon, his lightning was blue. So that's why they're like, this is definitely Yang Chung, and see how we go from there. But
see, that makes
overall,
me even more like maybe he didn't kill her, because if that is homeboy, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's like pow pow. So I don't know, but yeah, I was just mad at episode 5 because I'm like, no, I need to know if she's dead or alive. I don't care about this guy
yeah, they hit you with that.
unless he like does intertwine with the story. Then I care about this guy. Then I'm like, all right, I'm glad we got that episode.
Yeah, they definitely changed perspective. We don't know anything about Moon or Lin Ling in this episode 5, but I'm curious if they're going to continue on Isol's journey now, and we're going to eventually see Lin Ling again, or what? Because already episode 5, this has 13 episodes. I'm curious. Also, they were saying when Moon dies, they were talking about how it's coming up on the tournament. I can't remember how many days, but it said the tournament is coming soon to decide who's the best hero to become X. So I'm curious where we're at in timeline for episode 6.
I definitely do believe that dude becomes Iso, because the ending or whatever, the dude's like, oh wait, I'm here for you. So I'm definitely like, oh, he becomes him. Because I was definitely like, when he's like, I never show my face, I was like, that's such a smart move for a company, because you can always hand it off to somebody else. Like how with Nice, they had like paint his hair and everything like that. Oh, with Iso, somebody commit suicide. Hey, just put somebody else in the helmet. Like put somebody else under the mask. I was like, that's actually really smart, like business wise for a company like that. I was like, how come nobody's else thought about that? Like, come on, people.
Because that makes you expendable as hell. I'm not trying to be expendable.
I mean, it
I'm
does,
trying
but
to
also
be.
at the same time, like the dude, the stand tall firm guy, he can be like, oh, he can like say his real name, like, oh no, I'm really whatever. And then finally take a deuce or finally go to sleep. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It would be cool to like see someone that I wonder, like OG Isol, he's able to like to differentiate his personas, kind of how Lin Ling did for Nice, where it took a lot of effort, but it'd be cool to see someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm I don't know, God Sword, and God Sword has a mask, and then whenever he's like, I do not want the weaknesses, limitations of God Sword, and he's like, I am John Doe now, and he gets to be a normal human. That would be cool to see someone that has enough experience as a hero that can do something like that.
I feel like I feel like it's possible, because when Ling Ling said he's like Ling Ling now, he still had like the little white striped
The
hair.
streak,
So I feel like
yeah,
maybe if he's like, oh, I'm nice now, he won't get the full powers of nice, but maybe he'll be able to like float or hover or fly esque. Because maybe that's like why the top 10 heroes, or like the number like top 5 heroes, are still top 5. It's like they know the negative effects, but maybe they're so good to where they can like switch off that personality and still live a normal life, and that's why they're just kind of like, I'm cool with it. Because like the stand firm tall guy, I think he was like, somebody please save me, please save me. So, but like I feel like number
I
1, number
would
2, number
too.
3,
I
number
would
4
too.
is kind of like, I know the negative effects, but I also know I can just shut it off because this isn't my real name. So
Yeah,
that
that's
would be
fair.
interesting to see, though. It would be very cool to see.
Yeah. Last but not least, we got the main event, Thunderbolts.
Damn,
Mac, what did you
I
think
didn't even know
about
we went through
Thunderbolts?
everything
Or
so fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did Fire Force, Lazarus, Last of Us, To Be Hero X, and now we're on Thunderbolts. We doing our countdown? I'm nervous. I'm nervous, Meg.
We can do our
I want
countdown.
your real score.
I always give my real score.
Yeah. I want your honest score.
I got you, bro. I got you.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 75.
82.
Wow. I mean, I am pretty harsh on this one because
I'm more lenient on it just because Marvel's been not the best. So I'm like, they're kind of like in the trenches going uphill. So I'm like, okay. I was like, Captain America was pretty good. Okay, all right. Daredevil was pretty good. Okay, we're getting back up there. Like we're trudging along. Like all right. That's why I'm like, just more of the stuff here didn't bother me because it wasn't as bad, I guess you would say, as like some of the other stuff have been. I'm just like, okay, we're finally having like 3 projects in a row from Marvel that's still moving the train along. It's not pulling the train back. It's moving it along. But I'm sorry. What was you gonna say? Not me to.
That's fair because I think it's a progression. It's not terrible, but it's just the way they did it. I know a lot of people love this movie. A lot of people say this is the best thing that they've had all year for Marvel. I don't agree whatsoever. Where I think Daredevil was better.
Especially, yeah.
Yeah, I think Captain America was even better.
Yeah.
But one of the things that killed me for it, and I know I'm bad about for villains letting me like sometimes characters that are supposed to piss me off too much, and that is exactly what Homegirl did. What's her name?
I can't remember her name.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. I was like, man, I need her to die. I just need her dead. She just needs to be gone. No, thank you. Goodbye. And she, at the end of the movie, she's like, yeah, we're in charge of you now. We own you. I'm like, no, kill her. Please. Put her in jail or something. And I know she's supposed to piss you off. That's the point of her. But she does it too well. I don't like it. Other than that, I just think the banter was really good between all the characters. But it's just, I don't know. Everything felt a little bit forced, and then the story felt a little bit incohesive. Of like,
the pacing was horrible.
Yeah, the pacing was very bad. It
felt very actually talk, action, talk, action, talk, action, talk. It wasn't like you were on this adventure. It felt more like adventure. Okay, let me tell you the story. Adventure. Let me tell. It wasn't just we're going on this cool adventure with these assassins and these soldiers and these super soldiers and everything like that, and like this government person that's like that's really a evil government person that's after you. No, it was like action talk. Let me tell you what the movie's about. Action talk. Let me tell you what. Yeah, the pacing was bad.
Yeah. I do think the best characters in this movie. I love Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think I'm gonna say she's a better Black Widow than Scarlett Johansson was. In my opinion,
was also definitely a Florence Pugh movie. This was not.
She has so much more depth as a character.
This was a Yelena-esque movie.
Yeah, I'm Team Yelena over Team Natasha, and then also the man that plays Bob, who also plays Bob in Top Gun, Lewis Pullman. He also did phenomenal as Sentry because it was very comic accurate Sentry, where Sentry is like not supposed to be. It's almost like a parody of Superman. It's their version of Superman where he's all powerful, but there's big caveats to it where he's like, oh, there's also the Void, and I think those bits of it were amazing. It's just
I didn't like how they got beginning. To it. It felt very fast.
The very beginning, great. The very ending, great. Where everybody's like ends up in the Void. I think going from Yelena getting to the vault area with the Ox Group, and then everybody in the Void stopping the Void. Really good. Everything in between, I was like,
I feel you on that. Like bringing up the void, because I can't go into negatives a lot, so I'm gonna try not to go into negatives just yet. But like bringing it to the void, what I didn't like was what that everybody was there. And so what I mean by that is they're having a Yelena. To me, watching it, I was like, this is Natasha and Bruce Banner, because like that's what it felt like they were building it to. Like, oh, this is Yelena and Bob. Like Bob is the Hulk.
That's
Yelena is
exactly
like
what I
the
was
sun. The
saying. I was
sun's
like,
getting
this is
real
just
low,
so
and
yeah, the
so
same exact
right.
thing.
So I was like, okay, this is they're building that. So when they're in the void, I hate that everybody's there. And so what I mean by that is Walker's a dick to Bob the whole time. He's a bully. Ghost just kind of there to be there. I feel like they don't have any banter or talking. She's just there. Red Soldier or Red Guardian, again, he's more there just because Elena. Like, all right, I get it, cool, but you have no connection to Bob. You have no
Yeah,
connection
and he was
to
there for
situation.
more comedic relief. I
Yeah.
get the only good part where I was like, "Damn, that was like really good." Was I mean the conversation that him and Yelena have about being like about mental health and everything.
Mm.
I think that was great. And then Yelena walking in to the void, and then Red Guardian thinks that he loses her. That
Yeah.
David Harbour in that scene, I was like, that was his best scene in the entire movie. Where he just is screaming. I was like, that had so much emotion behind it. That was amazing. Everything
Like,
else was just like tearing the teddy bar apart. I'm like, all
uh,
right,
like
good
again,
pun.
like Bucky going into Void. Why does Bucky go into the Void? He has no connection to Bob, and it's just like he's even like, how do you know she's not dead? I feel like Bucky would have been like, hey, y'all can go in there. I'm gonna have to try and get these people out. But like again, like it just didn't feel like with that of like how they all go hug him. It's like, so we're just hugging him to hug him. To where with Elena, it's like you get it from the beginning that they're building this connection. So to me, it makes sense that Yelena's going and hugging him and like whispering and talking to his ear and trying to calm him down. It doesn't make sense to me on why Walker's doing it, why Ghost is doing it, why Red Guardian's doing it, why Bucky. It doesn't make sense to me why
Yeah.
they're doing it. So that's where I was just kind of
The
like,
other thing,
huh, with it.
yeah, for me, Bucky going into the void also didn't make me happy because he goes in the void and then they're like, oh, how is everybody? He goes, yeah, I had a great pass. It was amazing. It was fine. Obviously, he's joking, but I'm like, it almost takes away from everything the Falcon and Winter Soldier did for Bucky's backstory of him coming to terms of everything that he's done and healing from that. And then we see him again in Falcon or the new Captain America: Brave New World. We're like, wow, he's become a congressman. And then we see him in this movie, and we're like, all right, that's back out the door. And then he's making jokes about him having a shitty past, which that's the entire movie is everybody has a shitty past. Understand that. But I'm like, I wanted Bucky to be like a pillar in this
Mm,
of like showing people that he's had a bad past and he's come back from it. But instead he gets taken back down to their level. I'm like, that all of the
yeah,
progress just out the window.
yeah.
Goodbye.
And so like speaking of
Yeah.
the progress, because damn, we were on a day. We gotta bring some positives after this one. But speaking of like negatives and like him being a pillar and bringing it back to the past, the thing that brought me so down on this movie was the ending. Was when Yelena goes, "We own you," right? And like she's like, "These are." I'm like, no. I'm like, the whole movie is about you guys wanting to do better, of you guys not wanting to be the people you guys were in y'all past. And then even with Bucky, I'm even more disappointed that Bucky backed up this decision, because Bucky goes up to her assistant and is like, "You know who you're getting in bed with." But what does Bucky do? Get in bed with her. Like nobody, like the first thing that should have came out of their mouths was like, "No, she's lying. She has not been working." Like that should have been the first thing that came out of their mouths, not "We own you." I was like, that is the dumbest thing, because this whole movie has been them trying to get out of their past, them trying to do better, them not trying to like creep back into what they were like before, them trying to I guess like I can't think, but like average, like balance out their past and like make up for it and stuff like that. But it's like, nope, we're just gonna get into bed with this person that we know is evil and this person who's going to abuse this power and is going to
Yeah.
take advantage of it. Because like the whole "I own you," no, you don't. You guys are you. If
Mm-mm.
anything, she owns you guys more, because now the government trusts her, Congress trusts her.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna question her decisions. And she's going to be able to make those decisions because you guys have her backing her. What are you guys going to say? Oh, no, she made us do all these terrible things. Who's going to believe you now? You've backed her saying she's been doing all of this these past couple years that you guys are supposedly working for her. So no, I'm just like, that made no sense to end it like that. And it brought this movie down so much for it to end like that, because this whole movie is making up for your past and trying to do better and be better from your past. And then it's just like the whole line from Bucky of, you know who you're getting in bed with, I did it. Clearly you didn't care. Clearly you had no issue doing the stuff you did, because you get in bed with that exact same person. You all do. You clearly don't want to do better for your passes. You clearly don't want to learn from your past, because you're working for a person who was like, I'm going to be impeachable. I'm making Century to have this power. She made you guys to get that same amount of power that she was going for. They're not going to impeach her. Why? Because now if you guys go up and say something, why are they going to trust you guys if you guys backed her up for being the new Avengers? I'm just like, what? And then the after credit scene when she's like, did you talk to Sam? And he's like, yeah, he's not happy. I wouldn't be happy either. Like, you know, I'm trying to rebuild the Avengers, and then you back a woman that we all know that's evil, saying she made the new Avengers. Why am I going to be happy with you, Bucky, when you back a person we clearly know is a bad person? You backed her. Nobody, you could have easily stopped that, but you didn't. You backed her up. And so now I'm supposed to support you backing up another evil person? Like, no, I'm Sam. I'm going to be angry too, because we all know it's not like she's a Nick Fury to where she's doing this. It's like she's a morally great character. Like she's doing this. No, she's doing this for power. We've clearly seen that from Black Panther 2. We've clearly seen that from this movie. We've clearly seen that from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She wants power. She doesn't want to do good. She wants the power to control things. And we've seen that. She's not a Nick Fury where she wants to do good and he's making contingency plans. He's making this and that. To where Nick Fury did make mistakes, but he also understood that he made those mistakes and they weren't the best mistakes. I mean, they weren't the best mistakes for the good intentions that he planned on doing it for. And he listened to the people that were telling them they were bad mistakes. But Bucky, you have backed this woman up that we all know that is evil. And so now it's going to be even harder to like bring her down. And we can't bring her down because you yourself have backed her up. So as Sam, why am I going to help you back her up when I'm trying to build the Avengers and build it the right way, in a sense? Like that, like the ending for me was just like, because I was like, oh, okay, this is like an 80, 86, 85. And bring it down to like an 82. I was just like, bruh, what? I was like, this.
Yeah, it gets rid of whatever redemption that they had, where they're like, we're bringing her in for justice because it's what's right, and at the end they're like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, we're the. Also, they're like, oh, Sam's doing his own Avengers. We're the Avengers. Y'all can't be Avengers together. It has to be an exclusive club that y'all. It's either y'all or them, not heroes.
Because they're definitely going to try to make a Civil War 2 type thing.
I'm just like, there's
which I
no
think that'd
point.
be even
Why?
dumb. Yeah, that'd be even dumber in my humble opinion.
Yeah, but, and then the other thing that I didn't like last dig at this before we start talking about positives is the post credit scenes with the Fantastic Four seeing the ship. It made me so much less excited to see Fantastic Four. I was like, I went into the theater be like, yeah, Fantastic Four, I gotta see the trailer. And then we see the ship. I'm like, all right, well now we confirmed the ending of Fantastic Four.
They're definitely, that's definitely how it ends. It's definitely ending like that. I hated it more in a sense. I would have rather have seen it in Sam's Captain America ending instead of Thunderbolts. If they're going to use that as end credit scene, I would have rather have seen it in a Captain America end credit scene instead of Thunderbolts or whatever the fuck they call it. End credit scene. But I am like you, like, man, okay, we definitely know how it ends. But I also knew it was going to have to end somewhere else of like the doors of the multiverse being crumbled, like how the Marvels ended with like the doors of the multiverse like being like cracked, and like Maria Rambeau gets like kicked in through the other door. Now she's like in the X-Men world. So just from like Avengers Doomsday and everything like, so I was like, I knew how they had to have ended it some way of like the multiverse cracking and them getting into the Earth, like the main Earth universe. But I can see why it does piss people off because, like, oh, do they lose to Galactus? Do they lose to Silver Surfer? Do they lose their Earth and now they're just here? So it's definitely I can see how it makes.
The only hope I have is that they didn't lose, and that whenever they're doing Avengers Doomsday, their goal is to get back to their Earth. But we'll see how that goes. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm still going to watch Fantastic Four. I'm not looking forward to it, but I hated that they connected it before Fantastic Four was even out. I'm like, why? You didn't tease it. You have already made the trailer. The movie is dropping in 2 months, and now you've already shown the ending to it, basically. So like, we know where they end up.
Yeah. I mean, they could also end up there because of Doomsday, because Doomsday is supposed to be their end credit scene.
We'll see. But yeah, overall, I gave it a 75 just because I don't agree with people. I think Brave New World, I enjoyed it more. Yeah. And some people were like, oh, this was amazing.
My score's probably gone down like 80% after I just... was it 82? It's at 80% now. Just talking about it more.
But
just like,
it's still like, it's still an okay movie. Like, I don't like hate it as a movie. I love Yelena as a character, and I think she did phenomenal. Yelena and Bob both carried this movie in all the like good scenes. And then, like you said, Ghost was kind of just there as like I'm also traumatized. Let's throw another traumatized person in. I think it was smart.
Ghost. I love the actress.
Yeah, no, she was amazing. It was smart that they killed off Taskmaster so fast because she's emotional. They definitely did that
because she was not a fan. Fans hated her. They definitely were like, we got to get rid of her somehow.
Yeah, that's why they killed her so fast. And I don't think there was going to be any like trauma healing for Taskmaster because she's kind of just like a robot in the sense of like her brain's just like she's a husk. There's not a person in there anymore. So like they gotta get rid of her quick.
I feel like they also got rid of her because they're like, she's a better shield bearer than Walker. We gotta get rid of her also.
Yeah, she was whooping too much ass too quickly. We had to catch her slipping.
Yeah, that fight in the fucking I guess Volt, that was good. I was like,
dang, that was good. Like, yeah, everybody was fighting everybody.
Yeah, I was like, this is a smooth. I like that fight at the beginning. I was like, that was nice. Yeah. That was nice.
But overall, it was still a good movie. I'd watch it again eventually.
Like how you said, like it's just the ending to where it's like they weren't Valentina. And I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. And then it's like, I know I see them trying to make a Civil War 2, and I'm just like, no, there's no way in the world that I'm going to agree with you guys because you guys have agreed with this person that we all know is evil. Like, what grounds do you have standing? All you guys have a backseat of just blood. Like, and then you work with this evil person that we all know is evil. Great, you might have one or good, morally good decisions, but it's like, ultimately, you have proven that you don't care and you side with the person that would just help you beneficially. Even Bucky, I'm even talking about Bucky, because his character should have been the first one to say something, and he did it. And I do feel like this movie destroys his character so much, because you've worked with the Wakandans, you've worked with Sam and the government, you've worked on your therapy and your trauma, and then it's all that's gone with this one movie. And these decisions that you decide to do, it's just like, it makes no sense at all. I know I keep digging at this movie, but the ending makes me so angry that the movie before the ending, the first act, the second act, first part, second part, whatever you want to call it, the beginning, the middle, it was good. It was so good, and then you end it like that to where none of that mattered. None of that growth, none of them questioning anything they want to do matters because they make that decision. And it's just like, bruh, why?
I agree. But that's all we got for you guys today. We appreciate it. Let us know what you guys thought about Thunderbolts. Honestly, we want to hear your opinions. A lot of people gave good reviews. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't think it's as good as I've been seeing on the internet.
Yeah, most definite. I'm right there with you.
But Florence Pugh carried it. Louis Pullman carried it. I loved them both as characters in this movie. But that's all we got for our discussion episode. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.